Let's talk about. I know I don't talk about. I mean to talk about this type of stuff more because I don't think it's talked about nearly enough in the prophecy community. And I know a lot of people when they hear something like this, like what we're going to talk about, they're like, why are you talking about that? That's stupid. It's no, it's not. And what I'm talking about is this latest song that comes from Katy Perry. I know, right? So I've talked a lot about the mystery religion and the divine feminine a lot. Again, I believe this needs to be discussed a lot more in the prophecy community because this is one of the main leaders of not only constructing this beast system that we're seeing now, but is also forming the one world religion in front of us. This mystery religion is all wrapped up into everything. Remember, the mystery religion is not one central system. It's a entire system of many that come out of her and the harlot, and she just puts her tentacles in everything. Again, I kind of showed some of that on the End Times New Age series if you want to see how spread out it really is, but it's multiple systems coming out. It's like a fountain, and so it's in all these different things. And so that's why when we see things like the Chosen show, where the director Dallas Jenkins just said the show's about breaking down the walls and blurring the lines of traditions and bringing everybody together, because that's part of what mystery religion is all these false religions and all these systems are built upon the same root, which is Gnostic roots that was formed back in the Garden of Eden, the world's first religion. And so it's spread ever since the Tower of Babel. And it took, again, the pyramids, like we talked about, and it took the unholy pagan trinity. It took the divine mother and child. And that's where we get the divine feminine coming from. And so this is very important to truly understand everything that we're seeing right now. And so we got the main divine mother and child. Again, you look at Catholicism, you got Mary and Jesus. You look at all over the place. Trying to remember some off the top of my head. Sybil and Addis is one of those. And then there's a bunch of other ones. Again, go check out the End Times New Age series. I break down a whole heaping list of divine mother and child. And this is also the rise of feminism as well. What we're seeing today with the whole feminism, down with the patriarchy, down with God's order of the family and everything. And it's all about reducing men and uplifting women. Again, it's about this duality, trying to bring everybody to the same level, put them on the same level. And it's, again, as above, so below, light and dark. It's all that type of stuff wrapped up in the one. And feminism is one of the leading parts of that. There's even books out there where it's like Spell Book of Lilith, which, again, go back into the Gnostic history, End Times New Age series, go check it out. And everything is about destroying the patriarchy, rising femininity, rise in, there's like abortion spells, and making sure that you can't get pregnant spells and all this type of stuff. It's absolutely just sick. And it's demented and it's twisted and it's demonic, but this is ultimately all wrapped up into this stuff. And how it's wrapped up into the alphabet agenda as well. Again, trying to create androgynous beings, trying to put them on the same level in order to balance it out. That's why we see men becoming feminine. That's why we see women becoming butch. It's because it's trying to create this androgynous being. And so the alphabet agenda is even wrapped up into it. And we can see all over, and that includes the entertainment industry for sure. We can see this stuff all over. We see it in the schools. We see it in the churches. We see it in the governments. We see it in the movies. We see it in music. We see it all over the place about this mystery religion, this divine feminine that's going on. But sometimes it's so obvious that you just have to point it out. What do I mean by that? Well, we take a look. See, Katy Perry just put out a new song called Woman's World. She's getting some backlash from it, but she's getting a lot of positive stuff from it as well. So I'm not going to pull up the lyrics of the whole song, but I put up enough that I think you guys get the experience because it's so, or get the idea because it's so on the nose. First of all, the chorus is all about it's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. They just repeat that in the chorus. And it talks about so intelligent, she is heaven sent. And then you can see it down below. It says fire in her eyes, feminine, divine. Which again, feminine, divine, divine, feminine. It's literally the same thing. It's the mystery religion of uplifting the divine mother and child. Of course, you go back to Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz. Semiramis was the harlot, was a whore back then, and Nimrod was known as the god, and they were the king and queen of Babylon back in the day. Well, Nimrod died, and so in order for Semiramis to keep her position as queen, she had to figure out some way to keep that. And so she went and got pregnant by somebody, and then deemed that child that she was pregnant with was the reincarnation of Nimrod. And as we know, that was birth Tammuz. You can actually go and look in, I believe it's Ezekiel 8 as well. It references Semiramis, Nimrod, and Tammuz. The people in the temple were worshiping them. This is the unholy pagan trinity. And so that's where the divine mother and child comes from, because they believe, oh, she is with child, the reincarnation of Nimrod, and it's a miraculous virgin birth type of thing. Again, Satan takes what God does, and he, does what he does. So this is where this comes from. And so when we read something like this is in blatant reference to the divine feminine. It's everywhere. Even if it's not blatantly in your face like it is here, it's everywhere. But the thing is how many teenage girls listen to this woman? How many listen to her and want to be like her? You guys find it fascinating that one of Katy Perry's top songs when she first got super popular had to do with I Kissed a Girl, and it was like a lesbian song, and all of a sudden how much that started to explode when that song became something? That's not a coincidence. That's really stuff that's going on. And so just keep this in mind. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this in the past before, but I just want to make a point that Katy Perry actually came from a Christian background, and then she sold her soul to the devil, and she really told us that.
You're doing really well now, but didn't you release a CD like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in, a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
She wanted to do the Christian thing, but it didn't work out, so she sold her soul to the devil. You don't think Satan is using her in many different ways when it comes to the music industry? I believe he absolutely is. I think he's using her a lot. A lot. But keep in mind, that same stuff from things like Katy Perry is circulating the Christian contemporary music industry as well, CCM industry. We've got to be very careful of what is going on behind the curtain of these things and not just take everything at face value. Oh, well, they're singing, about Jesus, so it's obviously got to be good. Again, I've done many, many, many different videos showing that they are all singing about a different Jesus. Bethel, Hillsong, Elevation, Maverick City Music, Phil Wickham, Danny Gokey, so on and so forth. Their theology is so jacked up that they don't know who the true Jesus is. And so they write music about this other hippie Jesus. Their Jesus is the one that talks about tolerance. Remember, we just talked about that earlier at the beginning. That ain't the message of Jesus at all. Theirs is about tolerance and this type of stuff, especially when you look at people like Lauren Daigle, who I've warned about her before as well, where she believes that it's wonderful that the movie The Shack displayed God and the Holy Spirit as female. And she believes in the Holy Spirit as a female, which again, that's Gnosticism, because Sophia, who's known as God's wisdom in Gnosticism, that's where the Holy Spirit gets it. That's why we see people like Sid Roth and stuff who says the Holy Spirit is a her, is a she. That's the divine feminine in all of this. We have to be aware of that. How many young Christian teenage girls listen to Lauren Daigle? And they're going to take that sentiment that she just put out, where she wants to get rid of the Christian tag because it's holding her back from being a bigger singer, and she believes that it's a good thing that the Holy Spirit and God were represented as women, and she goes around dressing as Gaia, Mother Earth, in one of her music videos. It's the same thing. She sounds the same as the Katy Perry music. Her theology is all over the map. How many young girls are following people like that, who are just going to take whatever Katy Perry or Lauren Daigle says regarding this stuff and run with it? That's why we have to be very, very careful. Very careful.